Welcome to class. Hopefully at this point that you've gotten to here, and you more than likely have already done the quiz at this point, but I just want a couple of review things really quickly. So your quiz is right here. Make sure that before you do the quiz that you have the ability to play and hear a YouTube video. It's embedded into the quiz, so just make sure that you have that ability prior to starting the quiz in order to make sure that you can be able to view it. You will need to watch that before you go and start your very first, so it's going to take a little bit longer because you have to go and watch that video. Now, if you're curious of what notes that you need to know for this, if you go back to the last day by day, you had these notes, and then you should have filled out these notes based on your lecture material. So make sure that you have that all ready to go so that you can do a really good job. Now, the second assessment for this strand is going to be the customs and taboo assignment, which is the one that you should have already completed at this point, which looks like this. So just make sure that you're aware that your assessment score for this strand is going to be this assignment plus the quiz that you guys are going to take. So if you didn't have a chance to do that, go ahead and do that now, or you can do it after this lecture. It's totally up to you. Go ahead and open up these notes right here and go ahead and press file and make a copy, and we'll just go ahead and do these notes. Now there's a couple of videos with this, so it might be a little bit longer than normal, so just be aware of that. Okay, so, but there is no assignment today, so a little bit longer lecture, but no assignment. So today we're going to be talking about what's called cultural diffusion, and you're going to want to listen to me really closely when I do these definitions, because I'm going to have the PowerPoint slides up, but I'm not necessarily going to say to use those definitions. So it would benefit you to listen really closely to what I say to write down. So there's four major types of cultural diffusion. So we're looking at how does culture spread. Now there's two kind of main divisions of this. There's expansion diffusion, where it begins to expand all over the world, and then there's relocation diffusion, where things begin to move into the new, into whatever world it could be. So let's talk about contagious diffusion. So for your definition for expansion diffusion is again the movement from one place to another, but it still remains in the origin area. Relocation diffusion, in contrast, is something that is carried or moved to a new location instead. So contagious diffusion is anything that is contagious. So this is the idea of rapid, widespread diffusion by direct contact. That's what you need to be able to write down. So I like to think of this as like the viral thing, right? So the contagion idea is somebody else does it, and so you decide to do it too. So I want you to think of a couple of examples that I have here. So I don't know if you guys are still into slime. My students today told me that little kids are into slime, but like they felt slime, and you can find slime like all over the place. You have like the silly band thing where you would have like all the different shapes. These are kind of like old school ones, like a Rubik's Cube, and then you also have like Among Us right now. And I want you to think of all these types of culture and think, where did you decide or hear from that you should go and participate in these? Did your teacher tell you to go and do it? Did you see it on the news? No, you probably heard about it from a friend, and that's what contagious diffusion is hearing about it from a friend and being able to kind of adopt that culture into yourself. So pop culture is something I would add to your definition. Pop culture is super popular amongst contagious diffusion as it begins to spread, and religions too. So for example, we've had a lot of spreading of like, oh, I'm this religion, you're this religion, why don't you be a part of this religion? That's contagious diffusion. So again, Among Us is probably the most common example that you would hear of in today's world. In contrast, you have hierarchical diffusion, and hierarchical diffusion is the idea of moving things. So I'll go ahead and give you the answer. We'll come back here in just a second. This is basically the spreading of ideas between, and I use this as between big things to small things, because it doesn't just have to be cities. It can be anywhere. So for example, I'll show you coming in a little bit, but you get ideas from like bigger cities tend to spread the ideas first, or celebrities, or whatever it could be. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video, and as we watch this video, I want you to think, what does the boss say about the blue sweater? So what does it say about why she's wearing a good sweater, or a blue sweater? And I want you to think as you watch this, how did it diffuse? How did it start of why she's wearing a blue sweater? So let's go ahead and pause the video.
Where are the belts for this dress? Why is no one ready?
Here. It's a tough call. They're so different.
Something funny?
No, nothing's, it's just that both those belts look exactly the same to me, I'm still learning about this stuff and,
This stuff? Oh, okay. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue. It's not turquoise. It's not lapis. It's actually cerulean. And you're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns. And then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff.
Okay, so now that you've watched that, I want you to think, what did she say? So notice in this video, as she went through this, she started to talk about how your blue sweater actually started here, and then other people started to do this, and then other people started to do this, and then people began to transform that, and it was this whole process of diffusing down to just something as simple as a blue sweater, and that's hierarchical diffusion. So you have to think too about origination. What do you want to, so like you can see right here, it says, what have you used, purchased, wanted, or said just because somebody else had it? That's the idea of hierarchical diffusion. So for example, and there's that movie clip, but I inserted it for you guys, is these ones. So think about some of the people that are on this list. So you can see, like, for example, you have celebrities here, the Kardashians. In class, I asked who is this. This is the Hype House, which is the top 20 TikTokers live in the same house in California. So what, when we talk about these people, like, they influence you in a lot of different ways. A lot of them do ads. So like, for example, the people at the Hype House, they earn typically anywhere between $50,000 and $1 million for a single ad that they post on a TikTok. And then you decide that you also want to follow this exact same example. And it could sometimes also go the opposite way. So like a small town kid does something and then it rises up. But a lot of times it's for the popular people and it causes you to want to do this. Now a stimulus diffusion is where you begin, so you can go ahead and write this exact one down on the left. This is where you merge and adjust cultural characteristics to form a completely new characteristic or an item. So I like to use this as the adopt and adapt. You take something from another culture and you adapt it to your own. So I want you to watch this video. So we're going to go ahead and watch it in just a second. And as you watch this video, I want you to think, how did this item come to be? How was this where they took one idea from another culture and transformed it into their own culture, and why did they do that? So go ahead and watch this.
It looks a little medieval, to be honest.
So good.
This is the chork.
This looks like it's gonna stab my eyes out. Chorps. Chorks.
It's very strange looking, but you know what? It's kind of efficient to have two things in one.
Chopstick forks.
I immediately grabbed it like chopsticks. I'm kind of just disregarding this end of it.
I'm terrible at using chopsticks, so the fact that this is glued together for me is really convenient.
So I know how to use a fork, I know that much.
I tend to think it's blasphemous to eat Chinese food with a fork.
I can't grip it. so I'm gonna stab it.
I'm doing this sort of scooping motion.
It's a little slippery. They're made out of plastic, so it's kind of hard to grip onto one of them.
That's a good spoonful. Forkful.
It's like, it just slides right across. This is incredibly difficult.
I am just bad at eating with chopsticks in general.
Oh, I got it, all right. I don't think anyone's gonna use the chopstick part. I think people are gonna use the fork part, because a fork is easier and Americans are lazy.
If there's an option to use chopsticks, I'll use chopsticks.
And I'm not the strongest guy in the world, at least I don't think.
I'm so scared.
This is how there we go.
I'm an adult.
I broke it.
But this is like, I'm afraid it's gonna like break in my face. Ugh. All right. That was very satisfying because I feel like I broke it.
And now you have like scary fork prongs.
Oh, and it's like spinning in my hands.
As regular sticks is a little easier. Man, this chicken's good.
I think for a to-go utensil, this is genius because you're wasting less.
What you need, just regular old chopsticks. Look at that, so much easier.
Okay, so now that you've watched that, I want you to think. So first off, what was the stimulus? So what was the item that they adopted from another country? So that's going to be chopsticks. Then you have also with the chopsticks, where is that from? That's going to be from China. Had they adjusted, they made it into a fork. And why? Because Americans don't know how to use chopsticks. So they had to begin to diffuse it and begin to change it. Now, another example of this as well could be like McDonald's. So if you, we're going to watch this video really quickly. And as you watch this video, I want you to think, how do these foods begin to fit the cultures of these different areas? So how has McDonald's adapted to the individual cultures in these areas to both bring McDonald's but also keep that traditional culture?
When traveling, you're more than likely to try delicious, authentic food found in the country that you're in, not fast food chains. I mean, who travels across the country to try McDonald's? But McDonald's is the second biggest fast food chain in the world, and it's all over. Its menu items actually differ depending on where you are, like the McFalafel in Sweden or the McSpicy Paneer in India. Let's take a look at what McDonald's menu items look like around the world. You can get a really good kick of heat with Thailand's Kaprao crispy chicken rice. It's rice served with chicken curry.
It's actually really good. It's like sweet and spicy, but honestly, you wouldn't think it came from McDonald's.
And for dessert, try its Thai pie. It's stuffed with black sticky rice and young coconut that oozes when you bite into it. Canada's poutine is a can't miss. It's fries topped with cheese curds and gravy. It first appeared in Quebec in the 1950s, and you can try it at some Canadian McDonald's. While the Big Mac may be one of McDonald's most popular beef burgers, that's not the case in India. About 95% of the world's Hindus live in India. Cows are sacred in Hinduism, so practicing Hindus don't eat them. As a substitution, the Maharaja Mac uses chicken and adds heat with jalapenos. It's also estimated that anywhere between 20 to 30% of India's population is vegetarian, more than any other country, and many people that do eat meat don't eat it often. The McSpicy Paneer and McAloo Tikki are two vegetarian sandwich options in India. The McSpicy Paneer is fried cheese with lettuce and spicy sauce. Paneer is the common cheese used throughout the Indian subcontinent. The McAloo Tikki is a fried potato and pea patty with veg sauce, ketchup, tomato, and onion. Like India, many Swedes enjoy the vegetarian lifestyle. Sweden's McDonald's offers items such as McFalafel with 4 or 9 pieces of falafel bites. It also sells the McVegan, a soy vegan burger. One of our producers, Ju, tried it herself. Here's what she thought.
It's mixed with tomato powder, onions and peppers. So like what you're expecting from here is quite like a juicy soy protein burger, but with quite a strong like vegetable taste to it as well. It's not really flavoursome. It just tastes like quite a good standard veggie burger, like made of soy protein. It certainly looks very impressive. Like I really like the colour of it.
In Hong Kong, the company created the first McDonald's Next, a sophisticated and modern version of the restaurant with an open kitchen, hand-washing tables, and silverware. At this McDonald's, you can get gourmet burgers, rich desserts, and matcha drinks, like their soy milk matcha latte and shake fries, which are also available in other Asian countries. Taiwan has an extensive breakfast menu, and a lot of its breakfast sandwiches are made with toast, like this one with pork, cheese, and cabbage. You can also get items like corn soup, and just like shake fries, some countries in Asia have shake chicken too. Switzerland's McDonald's offers a quinoa curry burger. It's a quinoa veggie patty topped with lettuce, tomato, garlic, and curry sauce between a ciabatta bun. If you're familiar with American McDonald's, you know that there's only 2 flavors of McFlurries, Oreo and M&M. But Switzerland has Toblerone McFlurries. The country is known for great chocolate, and Toblerone was invented there, so it's only fair that they made their own version of a McFlurry. Our producer Graham tasted it.
That's amazing. That's so rich and creamy and sweet. That's delicious. I mean, it tastes kind of like a chocolate milkshake. Very good. I love that. I love that.
Simon is a common cuisine in Hawaii. The traditional noodle dish can be found at Hawaii's McDonald's. It serves the noodles in a broth with char siu, fish cake, nori, and egg. Spam is also a huge part of Hawaiian culture, and McDonald's offers a breakfast platter with spam, Portuguese sausage, eggs, and rice. Pair it with a taro pie made with the tropical root vegetable taro. South Africa's menu has a buri burger. You can get it with 1 or 2 patties, and it's served with ketchup, mustard, and grilled onions. Bori is special to South Africa. It is short for boerewors, which translates to farmer sausage in Afrikaans. Meat pies have been a staple in New Zealand since early British settlement and can be found anywhere from bakeries to gas stations and even in the country's McDonald's. The Georgie pie is a square-shaped pastry filled with ground beef and cheese. Japan has a pretty extensive menu of burgers, and among them is the teriyaki burger, a beef patty with lettuce and teriyaki sauce. It also has an ebi fileo, a breaded shrimp patty. And if you're thirsty, try the melon McFloat. It's Fanta soda with vanilla soft serve.
A lot of McDonald's make you pay extra for condiments, especially their dipping sauces. But in Mexico, they do it a little differently.
Instead, it has a complimentary salsa bar. Use it on the special breakfast platter. It comes with sausage, scrambled eggs, and McMolletes, bread that comes with refried beans, white American cheese, and salsa. In Mexico's McDonald's, you can also try a pie de queso. It's a classic handheld pie crust filled with a sweet cream cheese. Rice is a staple food in Indonesia. The country produces over 60 million tons per year. Its McDonald's offers sticky rice balls served with fried chicken, spices, and chili sauce. Wash it down with blackcurrant fruit tea, which comes in this fun purple juice pouch. McDonald's in the United Kingdom might be the best place to stop if you'd like to try food from around the world. Yup, its limited edition menu offers items like the Indian chicken and the Canadian stack.
Some chicken in there, lettuce, tomato, onions, and of course the naan on the outside. If you like garlic and you like chutney, you will love this. Ooh, okay, crispy onions and bacon and sauce and lettuce and cheeseburger patties. That's it.
You can also just stick to classic UK flavors and get a traditional bacon roll. It's bacon served on a roll with ketchup or brown sauce.
The bacon in there is actually quite good.
So tell us, would you consider eating at a McDonald's while traveling? Is it an experience to add to your bucket list? Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, so the last one is what's called relocation diffusion, and relocation is when things literally move to a new place. So for example, we have sushi in Utah where it's the same exact cultural item, but we have adopted it from another country and use it here. The haka is another great example. A lot of football teams do the haka now. It's begun to move from those different areas. And this is oftentimes how folk culture begins to spread, or traditional foods and things like that begin to spread around the world. So here's the easiest way to be able to remember this idea. Expansion is a balloon that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it begins to move. The contagious is I saw someone do it, so I'm going to do it. Hierarchical is that cool person did that. That somebody else did something, so I want to do it now too. Stimulus is that's cool and I like your cultural idea, but how can we change it to adapt to us? And relocation is jumping from location to location.